Hello, I am Ellen Coronet, sitting in for Ginny Robertson at On Purpose Woman Global Community, and this is an evening meeting, Connections After Hours. And I would love to introduce you to Cassandra Herbert. We're going to be speaking today about making space for success, about the power of letting go in business. And Cassandra is a holistic nurse, a health and wellness coach, an herbalist, a breathwork facilitator, a former psychotherapist, and a creator of Zest and Harmony. She helps busy professional women release stress and restore vitality through food, herbs, and lifestyle medicine. Passionate about supporting Black women, Cassandra guides them in breaking free from generational diseases, reconnecting with their bodies and trusting their inner wisdom to truly thrive. So today she's going to talk to us about how success is really isn't just about doing more, it's about creating space for what truly matters. So I am going to turn it over to you. Welcome to everybody, whether you're here in the Zoom room or on YouTube. We're happy to have you here with us.
Thank you, Ellen. Appreciate you. Think of the OPW global community. Yes, I am Cassandra Herbert, and you heard my bio, so I don't have to go over all that. And today we're going to be talking about making space for success, the power of letting go in business. And if you're listening to this and you're like, well, I'm not a business owner, that's okay because it's not just letting go of stuff in our business, it's letting go of things in our life. And all of those things are interconnected. So these things can apply to some of the things that I share can apply to also things that you can let go in your life. Okay, so first of all, I just want to just welcome everyone. Welcome, whether you're here live or you're listening to the replay or you're listening on Facebook or the replay on YouTube, and just welcoming you into this space, into this energy. And just for us to talk about, we're going to be talking about learning how to let go so we can create more space for ease, for more clients, and more creativity. So, with that, let's just kind of take a breath and let's center ourselves, feeling our feet on the ground. If you're in a place to do that, feeling your hips in the chair, relaxing your shoulders, and just taking a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And when you breathe in, breathing in that energy, breathing in the intention. And as you breathe out, just releasing whatever's not serving you in this moment. It might have happened before you got on this. It might have happened, earlier today or, yesterday, but just letting it go. So we're just going to do 3 sets of those. So breathe in and then breathe out. I like to do an audible one, like that's really, really letting it go, right? And then another one, breathe in through your nose and then exhaling. Yeah, let it go. Let go. That helps to relax your body and your nervous system and helps to ground you. And one more. And then breathe out. All right. Yes. That can just help center us. That's something you can do anytime you're just feeling like you need grounded, to feel grounded, you need clarity, you feel like you're in the present, in the future or in the past and you're worrying, that can help you. It's just the breath. The breath is a tool that stays with us all the time, and it can help regulate our nervous system. And that's some of the work that I do when I work with women is helping them to regulate their nervous system. So today, just setting what is your intention? What are you hoping to receive from this presentation? My intention is to tell you a little bit about autumn. since in the northern, if you're in the northern hemisphere, we are in the autumn. Autumn happened on September 22nd, and then the taping of this is September 29th, and that's the autumn season. And autumn, it teaches us that letting go is natural. It's powerful and necessary for growth. And I'm going to be sharing on some of those things that we get stuck in our business, whether that be with strategies, whether that be with systems, commitments, even with beliefs, and some of those things that we need to let go of or shift so that we can create space for that success. Now, success isn't about doing more, it's about creating space for what truly matters. So I just want you to take that in, see how that lands for you, see how that resonates with you. Because I know for myself, I felt like more was better. Doing. I'm a doer. I'm a doer. I'm a superwoman in recovery. Yes, the real life superwoman in recovery, because it was to do, to put on so much on my plate and on my schedule and all of these things. And it wasn't because I couldn't set boundaries. I can say no. It's just that everything would excite me. And I felt like, ooh, let me do this, let me do that, let me learn from this person, let me learn from that person, let me, all these things and everything. And I know someone earlier was talking about, all of these things, but what is coming back to that true who we are and how we show up in the world. And I've had to do that. I've had to let go of other things. Not that those things weren't wonderful, but really getting back to what is it that I want to do? What is it that I want to bring into the world? How do I want to support the people, usually the women that I work with? How do I want to do that? And so it wasn't about doing more. It was actually about creating space and getting still and connecting with the divine, with God, with the higher self, and really tuning in and listening. And that created that space. So I'll talk more about that as we go. So, but let's talk about why autumn inspires letting go. That first of all, it is the autumn time, and in traditional Chinese medicine, we think about there's the you think about the yang system, the yin and yang symbol, right? So yang, springtime, new growth, summertime, it's just like everything is like light. It is action, it's doing, it's celebrations. You think about the sun is out and it stays out longer. And then as we go into yin, so we're going into that in the autumn. Yin is about darkness, it's about moon, it's about reflection, it's about stillness, it's about rest. So we're going into that. Also, when we think about autumn, we think about the trees and how the trees shed their leaves to conserve energy. I was researching that it says if trees hold on to the leaves, they'd waste resources and stunt their growth. So see nature cycles, like nature, the cycles. And I know for myself, I was never living, I wouldn't say no, for probably good 35 years of my life, I wasn't living with the seasons. I was living against it. I wanted spring and summer to go on and on, even when it was fall and winter. In fact, I was very resistant, and so resistant that, I would get a cold in I would actually get sick. I'd get bronchitis like in February. Usually in February, I would get bronchitis. And it was because when you push against the natural rhythms of the seasons, it can show up in your body and bring you sickness. And that was what was happening. I also lived in upstate New York, Rochester, New York. The autumn, oh, I was very resistant to the autumn. I was just like, I felt I probably had undiagnosed, and I can say this because I'm a former psychotherapist, seasonal affective disorder for like 10 years. I was like unmotivated, always wanted to sleep, all these different things. And it was just challenging, you know? And so, but I've learned to appreciate and go with the season. And that has shifted everything for me. But it's not also it's not just the seasons, it's also the seasons of our life. I'm in my autumn years. I'm postmenopausal. So if we think about the seasons of of female bodied, you know, that it's the seasons, the cyclical, you know, the monthly cyclical season, as well as we, you know, our summer years are probably when we're having, you know, children and things like that. And then autumn. Autumn is that time of, you know, postmenopausal. But the autumn also is about reflecting and tuning in, you know, and so business parallels this because holding on to outdated offers and clients or strategy drains our energy, just like when those trees hold on to those leaves. So, what happens? What happens when we don't let go? What happens? I'm going to tell you. A lot of times my desk still looks like that. If I turn this camera, yeah, my desk can be I can be someone who's yeah, like needing and it's not that I can't throw things out. It's just that I tend to I guess tend to have like stuff. I've recognized for myself that stuff kind of makes my nervous system feel feel regulated. I mean, that's what I have learned. And so that was like me adding lots of stuff on my schedule. I would have this full type schedule and I would do all these things in my business, but I wouldn't plan for transition times, any of that. So just think about if you're that type of person. And there's no shame or guilt. It's just recognizing that and recognizing that what that causes is overwhelming stress. I will tell you once, I remember this happened several times. I would wake up and I would be like, oh my goodness, I have all these things to do. I have this, I have that. I don't know how I'm going to do it. And I would actually start crying. I was like, I am so overwhelmed. I'm so stressed. And then I would think to myself and go, nobody's done this to you except for yourself. You've done this. You've added all this stuff onto your schedule. And then I would start laughing about it because I was like, this is just like, it was like, you know, so, but that's the thing when I wasn't letting go, when I wasn't, because it might not be that you need to let go of things. It might need that you need to be creating space for what you truly desire. The other thing can be the misaligned offers or clients because you're not letting go. So you could be in this mindset of, oh, okay, I need this, you know, I need this client, I need this because I need to pay this or I need to do this. And you're taking, even though you know deep down inside, this is not a client that you resonate with. And they probably don't even resonate with you, but you're gonna do that. And that usually is the most challenging clients, you know, or misaligned offers. Like because you've listened to this business coach and that business coach and all this stuff, and they've told you how to develop it, but you really haven't tuned into what you need and how you want to show up. And then it's just misaligned. Um, Also, less creativity and innovation. When I had all that stuff going on, I wasn't getting those hits of creativity. Now that I allow space in the morning, and I know we have a meditator on here, you know, I meditate, I tune in, I journal, I pause. I actually appreciate autumn and the winter time because I'm like, let me rest. Somebody else was talking about how they took a step back from their business and really, you know, like took it wasn't on social media, wasn't on any of those things, and how they got clarity of how they wanted to show up in the world. And that's what happens. You will have more creativity, you will have more innovation. It's like where the magic happens when you have space. magic happens. Oh, and I'm skipping to my next slides because I talk about that. But lack of space for new opportunities, because if your schedule's full and somebody's like, you know what? I want you to speak and I'm going to give you $10,000. And you're like, what day? And you're like, oh my goodness, I have all these commitments. Like, so it's just, when you shift those. So this is, where might you need to release? It's the next slide where I start talking about the magic, but where might you need to release? So just think about this. Where might you need to release some things in your business? It might be outdated strategies, So marketing tactics or marketing things, I don't know. I'm not a marketing person, so, and keeping up on that stuff, but you know, things that might have worked or didn't work, but maybe it's not even you using your authentic voice, you being yourself. Because really, what I found is I attract more people when I'm just being me. It's not the scripted things, it's when I'm being me. I recognize when I'm saying the stuff, when I'm really saying that stuff, that's the posts that actually get more engagement. That's the emails that get more engagement. It could be systems that no longer fit. That could be systems of like the structure if you have different programs. I know for myself, I've done similar programs, like I do an autumn cleanse, but I've shifted. I do a release the sugar blues program, but I've shifted it. The more I've grown, the more I've learned, the more I've shifted that. If I would have stayed that same, so it's like making space for that you who is now, radiating in the world. So also draining commitments. It could be partnership, networking groups, or tasks that deplete your energy. Really know what things give you energy. Someone was talking about how they went to see a movie and they felt so satisfied with it. Like they felt so satisfied. And that like the art and the creativity and knowing those things that bring you energy and deplete you energy. Because I'm like, look, if it's like not a hell yes, then it's a no. Like if it doesn't excite me, then no, I'm not doing it. I want to feel energized. If it's not fun for me, then why am I doing this? I that's me. I want to have joy. And now, no, there are things in the business that just aren't sexy that sometimes we have to do because we're not at the point that we can hire people out. And those are things that we have to do, but we can still make those fun, right? Looking at partnership and, someone was talking about really reflecting on groups that they were in and networking in groups. Um, and then limited beliefs. These are things that I'm always looking at my shadow and looking at that. I have to hustle to succeed. I mean, yeah, I was addicted to the hustle and grind because I would be celebrated. People would be like, how do you do it all? I don't know. I just do it. Like, I just do it. And so it was like feeding into that, feeding into the shadow of I'm not enough. I mean, I had to really get honest with that. And I have to make decisions from, am I doing this from that I really want to do it, or if it's because I'm feeling I'm not enough and I want to feel enough and I'm getting from an external source than from that internal source. So, these are things that we have to ask ourselves as business owners when we're really wanting to show up for our clients, or they won't pay for my services. I always kind of think that with health and wellness, like no one's going to be paying me big bucks, all this stuff. And so just, seeing that and getting honest with that, but also I want to say bringing in that compassion because we can be hard on ourselves. All right. So this is what happens when you let go. This is the exciting part. Space plus possibilities. This is the thing. When we let go of that, whatever that is on the other page, or maybe there's other things for you, you attract aligned clients. You attract clients who are like, I mean, when I'm in that space, I don't even have to do a discovery call. I don't have to do any of that. People actually say, I mean, I remember once someone heard me speaking and they were like, this was early on, and they said, "Oh, I want to work with you." I was like, "Oh, okay, well, let's get on a call." And they're like, "For what?" "I know I want to work with you. Just tell me how much." And I was like, "Oh, wow." I mean, because that's people. Think about it for yourself. When you want to work and you feel in alignment, you're like, how much is it? Where do I have to pay? Just give me the button. I remember looking on someone's thing. I was like, "Oh my goodness, all of this." all of this landing page, all the I don't need all of this. I need to know where, like, well, how much is it? Let me see. And, but, because I've already resonated with them. More creativity and flow. Ease and flow. That is my intention all the time. Ease and flow. And you will have that because you have the space. So you can sit and you can just, I'm telling you, the downloads will come. They come and you get things done quicker and you're in the flow. And just increased ease. So there's my ease and joy in business. I mean, if we're in business, we're wanting to have that joy. I don't, like we get joy from supporting people. We get joy from when our clients have those ahas, or when we have group programs and you see how people are supporting one another. Even if we have digitals and programs and stuff, and people are like, oh my, you created this for me and it's working and it's, like all of those things. And clarity to focus on what matters most. That is so important. Recognizing what is my intention? What is it that, how do I want to show up in the world? What is it, how do I want to radiate? And when I get clear on that, that's when, if things are coming into I have had people ask me, oh, do you want to? I'm like, no, I don't. Because I looked at it and I was like, this isn't even in alignment with my business or who I am or things like that. And so I don't have a problem with saying no, because there's not also that scarcity mindset, like, oh, I have to say yes because I got to show up because I've got to get clients and all that stuff. No, you get into a different energy, and then the universe is like, yes, yes, you're in that energy. Flow with it. So let me see. This is just a brief like thing that you can do. You can do this. Your autumn release ritual. Autumn is a great time. All seasons are a great time for rituals. And I know we have someone who talks about rituals and is going to be talking about that in, I think, October. um, but it's to take some time to pause and reflect and identify what feels heavy or no longer aligned. And this can be in business or life, because sometimes it's in life. It's in life that I can't even focus on my business because my life is full of stuff. Write it down. List what you're ready to release. Write it down. I love this. I love this. I used to do this around, sometimes still do around the full moon, as long as it's not an eclipse full moon, which we just had. But and then the fun part is tear it up, tear it up, tear it up, tear it up. Just like, just tear it up, tear it up. Or burn it safely. I actually like to burn it, but I'm not going to do that. Love to burn it. Or you can actually bury it in the dirt because you can use the elements, or you can release it, or release it in water. You could actually get leaves and write it on the leaves, and then put it in some water. Like, I have a pond near me and I could just put it on there. Um, so the other thing is, you want to, whatever you release, this is a thing, whatever you release, whatever you want, you don't want to create that space and then you're not bringing in what you want. So bring in your intention, identify what you're making space for. I'm making space for my aligned clients. I'm making space for those opportunities. I'm making space for more money. I'm making space for more ease. Bring it in, because when you leave that empty, then those things want to pop right back in, and we don't want that. All right, I will not do, I don't think I have time for a visualization, but it's just, you all can just, we kind of did that in the beginning. We did the breath, but a visualization is just visualizing, taking a moment and just visualizing, what is it that you want? What is it that you want in your life? What is it that you want in your business? And seeing that. And you can also visualize letting go and releasing what it is that's no longer serving you. And then I want to just ask you, are you aligned with the seasons? Because this isn't just about autumn. It's also about, after we go from autumn, we go to winter, which is really yin. And that is going to be more of like resting. And I really encourage you. I mean, it's not optimal, but I did this last year where I was like, I'm taking from winter solstice to, I was going to do it till January 5th or something, where I just was like, I'm not gonna even do any business things, you know? Like um I sent out a newsletter and let people know that. I put it up on my social media and I said, I'm resting. I am resting because think about the animals. Think about what they do. They hibernate. This is a time where you plant the seed. It's where you can really get those insights. And I did it and it was so beautiful that I actually continued it until like January 20th. I did it for a month because I was like, I really love this. I love just being in like this cocoon of nourishing and just that rest and that reflection. And I'm not going to say I didn't work on anything. I just wasn't showing up in that way. Now, if I had clients, I would still work with them, but it wasn't just being on and, presenting and all those things. And then the springtime is where you plant those new seeds. It's about growth. We're going into that yang time, and then the summer is that fire season that, like really all those aligned actions. Now, mind you, you could have in your business in the fall, you could be having a spring season in your business, or you could be in the winter time having a summer season in your business. It's just like in life, even though I'm in my autumn years, in the spring, I could be doing, living life in spring. So it's just looking at if you're all in line with the seasons. And I do have a quiz that says, are you aligned with the seasons? And it's more about your life and stuff like that. And so I know for the OPW for this thing, I had put it on there and I will try to put it on. I guess I can put it on the YouTube link for people or in the OPW group on that. And it's a free quiz and it has tips on what you can do. You get your score and then it has tips on how you can, if you're not a master at a line, if you don't have mastery in it, then there's tips on how you can do that. So I just want to ask you all, this is a time to create space for your next season of growth. What does that look like? What does that look like? What does that feel like? What thoughts do you need to have? A lot of this is, and I know for myself, is it's embodying that person that I want. If you're wanting to manifest something, if you're wanting to create that successful business, look and see like what does success look like for me when I look at successful people and stuff like that. What habits are they doing? How are they taking care of themselves? Because I'm a health and wellness coach, so that mind, body, spirit. How is their environment? All of those things. If you want a season of growth, it's just like if I have a garden and it has leaves and old things from last year all in it. Am I going to plant the seeds in that? No, I've got to tend and take all of that stuff out. I've got to take all that stuff out and I have to put the seeds in. And then what do I have to do? I've got to have the sunshine. I have to have the water. I might have to have fertilizer. I have to tend to that. That's us tending to ourselves, mind, body, spirit, our relationships, our environment. Because when we do that, we're going to have that season of growth. So that means tending to your business, looking at stuff like, do I have too many emails? How are my welcoming packages? Do I have that? Is that, do I need to tweak that? How are my prices? How's my website? Are some things out of date? Because we can get caught up in the other things and those things can be out of date. If I have opt-ins, do they resonate with the clients that I'm trying to attract now? Are my programs, do they need to be shifted? I know a lot of people talked about shifting things. So creating that space to work on that for your next season of growth. And that is what's going to be so beneficial. And so I think I did it. Let's stay connected. Let's stay connected. I am Cassandra Herbert. My business is Zest and Harmony. And there's my telephone number, my email, my website. And then I'm on Instagram, Zest and Harmony. I'm on Facebook, Zest and Harmony. And my new favorite one that brings me so much joy is Tickety Talk. Who knew that me at 54 years old would be a TikToker? I don't know, but here she is, and I'm enjoying it.
Thank you so much, Cassandra. That was awesome. It's always such a joy to hear you speak. Is your quiz actually on your website as well?
Oh
Or
no, my website needs to all be done. If you go
oh,
there, you just be off again.
how about modeling? Well, you can find Cassandra at zestandharmony.com. How easy is that? And thank you so much, everybody, for being here this evening, whether you were right in the room and come on back to some more rooms. They happen 8 or so times a month online and also in person in Columbia. And um, I want everybody to unmute for a moment so we can say, whoa, wasn't that awesome? Yeah, go, Cassandra.
Awesome as always.
Yay.
Yay.
Great job, Cassandra.
Good job, good job.
So thank you everybody for being part of this vibrant, supportive, purpose-filled, on-purpose woman community. If you'd like to learn more about how to get involved in our Zoom or in-person gatherings or explore the magazine, just go to opwgc.com and you will connect. And in the next month, in the next few days, Ginny Robertson will be coming back in. And so come on and let's cheer each other on. So until next time, stay inspired, stay authentic, and stay connected. And stay recording.